nothing gives me more happiness than when I've had an amazing work day, smashed a workout, and then done my recovery, done my cryo, done my infrared sauna, or whatever service I do that I have here.
Yeah.
And then just going home, it's like an instant win for me.
Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Reinventing Cool. I'm your host, Maria Encebella, the founder of LondonCryo. On this podcast, I aim to talk to my guests throughout the process of their cryotherapy session, so you can get a behind-the-scenes look into the whole process while getting to know the guests better. Today, I'm going to be talking to brand and lifestyle consultant, Dalia. Dalia has been in the wellness industry for the last 6 years, and she's going to talk to us about her journey into this space. During the pandemic, Dalia and I were lucky enough to collaborate on the lymphatic drainage board, which we'll talk more about in this episode. So Dalia, welcome to the latest episode of Reinventing Cool.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So we got to know each other at the beginning of the LondonCryo journey. You're a brand consultant at BXR Gym, and now you're obviously working closely with me as well on our brand as well. So would you like to tell us a little bit more about your journey into being a brand consultant and a wellness consultant for us?
If we're talking about career, I would say it wasn't a very smooth transition. I definitely had to explore things in the past, different industries, to know that this is kind of my place.
Yes.
I think I was quite lucky when I was kind of soul searching and kind of exploring different roles. An opportunity came my way, which kind of led me to where I was today, or am today.
Yes.
I think it's so important to do something that you believe in, that you're passionate about, and I think that will shine through your service, your product, your everything, if you're passionate about what it is that you're trying to sell. Almost.
Yes, agree.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand it. I mean, I understand that as well, because being so passionate about health and wellness has allowed me to be on this journey, which has turned out to be, a successful one, and one that, people say, oh, what are you doing that's working for you? And because then I'm able to say the services that we do here at LondonCryo, and people then get on board with that. And I see that with you. So if I can just say, you're someone who has the most amazing skin complexion of anyone I know. So what do you generally do to make sure that you're staying in top form?
With anything, this, with fitness, with skin regimen, with nutrition, I think consistency.
Correct.
I do obviously have, the luxury of trying new things and be at the forefront of new products. But I do find that everyone can have that if they actually, maybe not even go out of their way, just finding a little bit of time in their day. I find that for me, consistency has been what has created, in my eyes, my optimal skin. And I think that just explore, just see what works for you, see what works for your skin. I think it's a 360. I don't think one product can give you the best skin or the best complexion or the best body. I think you need to, physical and mind, I think you need to, explore physical things, working out, the recovery, LondonCryo.
Yes.
And then play around with treatments that you think your body or your skin needs at the time.
Yeah. And what particularly motivates you to make sure that you stay consistent with what you do in your journey, or even day to day?
I think I've always been quite hard on myself, but I think that also gives me the kick up the arse. I know that nothing's easy, so I think that what motivates me is being my optimal self. And I know I can't do that by doing certain steps before. So I think constantly challenging yourself and setting yourself goals or targets, or, even if you want to write down a few things that you want, I think that can be applied to anything, whether it be your skin regimen or your body goals or your work goals. I think setting yourself a challenge and then seeing if you can kind of execute it and the steps you get there.
Then what happens? Do you ever find yourself falling off those you've got something that you're working towards, and then you find yourself actually not working towards that goal? Is there anything you do to course correct so you do get back on track?
I mean, hell yeah. I mean, I think 9 out of 10 times that is the case. But I think that, we talk about motivation.
Yeah.
A huge motivation for me is failure.
Yes.
I don't think you can have any successes without failure. I think you learn so much by trial and error. And I think that, everyone should just go out there and just, even if it's something that you think is unattainable or unachievable, it's the intent is, for me, the most important thing. And I think that's what continues to keep me on my toes. And when things don't go my way, is learning how to pivot.
Yep.
And who knows, out of that failure can come 3 or 4 things that you may have not even thought about to start with.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really important thing. And it's interesting you say that, because like with cryotherapy, if I can just pivot slightly towards that, it's all about doing things outside your comfort zone, which sounds like that you're someone who's not afraid to do that, to step outside just to
Absolutely,
say, and that's where the success comes from, doesn't it? So
absolutely,
and like with cryotherapy, people are still scared to, to give it a go in the first instance, but by stepping outside your comfort zone, then you do it for the first time, you get so many benefits
100%
from doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, when my friends come or when my friends ask to do something with me, it's often wellness focused.
Yes.
So sometimes it's a bit of a hard sell. Why
course.
I can't go out with them for dinner or for a drink, but then I would go for cryo with them. And I think that you have to try and do something that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Give yourself, not every day, but definitely to give it your week, your life, a bit of spice. I think it's so important to explore, and who knows, this could be something that you may enjoy and take on to what you do every day,
and incorporating it in our lifestyle and stuff
absolutely.
like you and I do quite regularly, right?
Yeah.
But then it is all about the balance. I mean,
definitely.
we do look after ourselves quite well, but it's also
I think we struggle with that. I think we struggle with
keeping the balance.
But everyone has their own balance. We definitely know how to let our hair down.
We do.
We know that. But nothing gives me more happiness than when I've had an amazing work day, smashed a workout, and then done my recovery, done my cryo, done my infrared sauna, or whatever service I do that I have here.
Yeah.
And then just going home, it's like an instant win for me.
It is. I understand that.
And I think that's, I think wellness is so broad now. And I think people always come back to wellness being, but you're eating well and you're working out, and it's so much more than that.
It is.
It's so much more than that. And I think we're very lucky that we've been able to see the evolution and growth of wellness in the UK. I think we're definitely stepping up.
Agree.
I definitely feel that when you and I started, it was a lot harder to convince people of what this whole wellness thing was.
Correct.
And it's been so amazing to see the response from people, and the barriers slowly starting to come down. And I think now it's no longer about convincing. To some may, but I think the ones that are now convinced, it's just about keeping them educated. And, for us in our industry and what we do is to be at the front line of the products or services or treatments. And I think it's just sort of a learning curve, isn't it?
It is. And what makes where do you get your inspiration from? Like, how are you always able to say one step ahead of everybody else in this wellness journey?
Think back to what we were saying earlier, just don't be afraid to try things. I think I'm definitely at the other end of the scale. That I'm literally trying everything and anything. But I think it's more of a personal thing. I think that in order to excel at what you do, you need to be in the know. And then I think that you're not able to do what we do, or if you're not able to show, well, look, I tried this and I did this, and what does it do for me? Definitely going out there and trying new things is the way I keep myself motivated and staying in the know.
So during the pandemic, we found that a lot of people in our industry were turning to do a lot of things at home. And one of the treatments that we do at LondonCryo is lymphatic drainage. And we collaborated on bringing a do-it-at-home lymphatic drainage board to people at home so they could continue to use, since they weren't able to come in, they were able to continue to do the treatment. So do you want to talk a little bit more about
the lymphatic drainage board?
Yes, please.
Sure. So you and I always have long chats about everything wellness.
Yes.
And one thing that I think you're amazing at doing is providing great services at LondonCryo. And I grew to love lymphatic drainage.
Yes.
I mean, I could go on about the benefits. But during the pandemic, I think it was so important that people continue whatever they did in their usual. And for the people that hadn't done it before and who didn't know what even till this day, some of my friends are like, you must be so drained. That's all you talk about is lymphatic drainage. So this product came about because I think it was about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I had a massage in Miami, and this lady was using all these different tools on me, and came back to the UK, kind of forgot about it, and fell back in love with lymphatic drainage when I was doing it at LondonCryo, and saw that there was nothing really here that could replicate or that could kind of mimic what I had there. So, we had this strike of genius during the pandemic, where we were obviously had way more time than we usually do to explore. And what's great is that I feel that some people don't have the resources to get a lymphatic drainage weekly, don't have the time. So this was a great kind of tool to have at home. 100% sustainable.
Yes.
It's pine wood. And it's super easy to use. I find a lot of people have a lot of excuses when it comes to wellness. And 5 minutes of your day, this was, I hope, the start of many tools to come. But this is how it was born, really.
So Dalia, do you want to show us how to use the board now that we have it with us?
Sure. We wanted to create something super easy to use at home. Obviously, we have the instructions, but in a nutshell, the shape is quite telling. So the bigger parts fit to the bigger parts of your body. So I tend to use this area for bottom of my legs, and obviously your waistline as well, and your tummy. And this small part here fits into your arm area, so you're able to drain upwards.
That's correct. Because our lymph nodes are in this area here, so it's important to drain into that area. And up here as well, so it's all about bringing it down.
And then here, it's actually, it's great, isn't it?
It is.
It's for this area here, I think this area, especially on women as we get older, we like to kind of tend to this area. So it's super easy to use, and I think its shape is very helpful to adapt to any body type as well.
That's correct.
And to different parts of the body.
It's also important to note that if you are buying one, that you need to have an oil to use with it as well to make it an easy flow when using on the body. So if you're purchasing it through LondonCryo, you can grab it on our website, www.londoncryo.com/lymphatic drainage board, or you can get it from Dalia.
Hop onto my Instagram and you'll see a little link and click to buy.
Okay, so we're going to pivot now into cryotherapy. So Dalia, can you tell us how you were introduced to this treatment?
I think my first cryo session was in Los Angeles. I think at the time, I thought it would just be another fad, to be quite honest. A few of my friends were going to do the LA thing, going for a hike and having a matcha. And a friend of mine said, let's try this cryo. So I was like, sure, as I'm up for anything. And I remember leaving the cryo, not really thinking much of it, thinking, this is great. And coming back to the UK months later, looking for cryotherapy centres in the UK and not really finding any, to be honest. Had found one or two, had been to a few, but nothing that really gave me that same rush that I had the first time.
Yes.
Fast forward a few years, I met you.
Yes.
And luckily, I had actually, before even getting to know you, you know, not to be biased.
Yes.
I was able to try cryo, and I think what led me to cryo after years later was reading something that Wim Hof had said.
Right.
About trauma and anxiety and how it had helped with that. And I had my own struggle at the time with anxiety, with sleep.
Yes.
And I said, why not give it a go?
Yeah.
And at the time I wasn't sleeping so well. And I remember doing my cryo session in the afternoon and going home and having a flat out 9 hours of sleep, which was
amazing,
at the time
right?
unheard of.
Yes.
I also then found that with consistency of my treatments, then went on to, I mean, God, the benefits, the inflammation that was able to calm. Recovery from my workouts, my anxiety. You know, we all have up and downs. It was definitely more controlled.
Yes.
And I definitely know that cryo was a huge contributor to that.
It's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. What would you say is your favourite treatment now at LondonCryo? Is it still cryo, or has it changed? It's like
saying what's your favourite child as a mother, isn't it?
Do you have a favourite treatment, or you're happy just to do
You know what?
everything?
I think I read my body that day, and I see, you know, what is it that my body needs.
Yes.
So if I've had a hard workout, I definitely, the infrared sauna, the cryo, the Normatec. If I feel that I'm having a bit of a tired eye and I have an event, or if I have an occasion to go to, one of my favorite facials in the world is the cryoskin toning.
Yes.
It's just like an instant facelift.
It is, isn't it?
And you just feel so much more confident after, and lifted and tight. And more recently, the hyperbaric chamber.
That's an amazing new treatment we have, right?
It's great. In the beginning, I was a bit apprehensive. I'm a bit claustrophobic.
Yes.
But it really, I didn't, you know, now I even taken the Normatec into the hyperbaric.
Excellent.
So I think you just need to, I mean, if you're a LondonCryo regular, you just need to read what your body needs that day.
Exactly.
And if you have the time, do them all.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we like.
Yeah.
Very good. What does the future hold for you? What are your inspirations and hopes now for the future?
To continue to learn. I think it's so important to continue to educate yourself. Very recently, someone said to me, "You're not perfect." And I said, well, God, I hope I'm not. Because the second you start to believe that you are, is the second that you stop learning and stop evolving as a person through your career and through your workouts, through your regimen, through everything. So definitely the future is educate myself further and further keeping a mark or making a mark into this industry.
Amazing. Okay, Dalia, now let's get you in for your cryo session.
Yay.
So we'll get you in now, Dalia. So what's your step going in? If you start to take your robe off, I'll adjust the height. Thank you. I've got that. Hands in prayer position, and I'm going to press start. You feeling okay?
Great way to start the day.
It is. How does it feel when you start your day with cryo, Dalia?
More energized. Like I feel like I'm a bit more ready.
Yeah.
Because I usually end my day with cryo.
And ending your day with cryo, as you know, helps you get a good night's sleep, right? So, but if you do want to have that edge when you're starting the day, obviously get in and have a session in the morning. How are you feeling?
Good.
Good.
Little cold.
And as we know, it's going to get colder. We're at minus 123. We're going to minus 130. Please take a quarter of a turn.
So when I started, your team were always so nice by distracting me with conversation.
Yes.
But I think combining like your breath work and meditation, especially if you're doing it in the morning,
Yes. especially if you find it challenging to do a session, getting your breathing right also helps you go in there in a more relaxed state, right? You've been doing cryotherapy for quite a while with us, Dalia. Like, do you find it as challenging as you did at the beginning, or is it much easier to do now?
I think it's definitely much easier because I'm aware of the benefits.
Yes.
When I'm more consistent with my treatment,
Yes.
it becomes a lot easier.
It does, yeah.
Also the benefits are better.
Yeah, with cryotherapy, it's cumulative, so you are getting more benefits the more consistent you are with the treatment. 3, 2, 1. There you go. I'm going to pass you your robe. So how are you feeling, Dalia, now you've done your cryo session?
Great.
And what would you say to anyone still sitting on the fence about trying cryotherapy?
Just do it.
Great advice. There you go.